Hello, Andy Sandy, the captain, and Rosie, okay? So I wanted to ask Rosie a question. Have people been monitored in stores while being followed by others? It was like a whirlwind as Rosie O'Donnell strolled down memory lane of her roller coaster ride on that iconic show we all know and love. The View. Can you believe it was way back in 2006 when Rosie strutted her stuff into the daytime talk show scene? But did you know that she wasn't mincing her words when she hinted at something? Rosie O'Donnell spilled some piping hot tea during her jaw-dropping appearance on none other than Brooke Shy. Rosie O'Donnell nearly brought the entire teapot to the Brooke Shields podcast, not just spilling tea. The real juicy tidbits were saved for Rosie's interactions with none other than the fabulous Whoopi Goldberg, the current host. Rosie hinted at some serious puppeteering going on behind the scenes, suggesting that The View wasn't just about women's voices, but was more like a marionette show manipulated by a certain white male CIS producer, the late Bill Getty. Hold on to your seats, for Rosie's story took a turn when she revealed that her initial leave was caused by her heated arguments with Hasselbeck. But when she later returned, Whoopi was the source of her problems. These confrontations were like storm clouds over some genuinely dark and controversial issues, like outright racism, getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're not talking about simple disputes here. Whoopi and Rosie allegedly sparred over the infamous SA case, but it wasn't the great conclusion, as Rosie dropped a bomb. Hold on to your hats because we're about to reach the climax as ABC then decided to wave goodbye to Rosie in 2007, ending her contract. Rosie revealed that The View swept important issues under the rug, such as that Rory Kennedy documentary exploring Abu Ghraib and the alleged U.S. torture. The drama was real when Whoopi flat out refused to tackle these matters on air while the world watched the legal battle unfold. More fights have taken place here than in a heavyweight boxing contest. Fighting between Rosie O'Donnell and Elizabeth Hasselbeck, Whoopi Goldberg, and Jenny McCarthy throwing shade, and claiming that this medication should only be used in certain special circumstances. I'm expressing my wish that it were accessible. I'm just saying that I don't think it's the right thing, but this is a slippery slope to simply eliminating life. And you know what, for people who want the government to stay out of their affairs and do whatever the heck you want with your body and stick. Yeah, Elizabeth, calm down, I know, but everybody has strong opinions. And there are many other arguments that other people could give you. I think the most important thing, which is what we see today, is that we've got to be able to have conversations. I've listened to everything you've said, but I want to emphasize how strongly I feel about it because I've only just begun. Here is the quarrel that has been simmering in the background. It isn't quite hogging the spotlight, but it is still jaw-dropping nonetheless. The two co-hosts share the same magical mindset, and their on-set turmoil is nothing compared to what goes on behind the scenes. Showdown is like witnessing a friendship disintegrate in front of our own eyes. And we are referring to none other than the mysterious, the flamboyant, and Whoopi Goldberg O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell and Whoopi Goldberg might not have shared the spotlight for too long on The View, but let me tell you, the sparks sure flew when they did mist followed around stores, having watched people know it's listen. I've been black for 60 years, okay? I've been black for 60 years, yeah, for me stupidity. There are dumb folks who just say dumb stuff because they're not looking or paying attention to the person they're talking to, which is why people can walk up to Obama and not look up at him and see that it's not just racism. If me and Rosie were going into a store together, they would follow your behavior, follow me. And not her when my sister Carmen and I were in San Antonio. We are in an exclusive hotel. We're an exclusive VIP lounge. There are millions of people up in that, right? We walk in, and they ask my sister Carmen to clean the table, okay? It all started when Whoopi took the reins from Rosie in 2009. And boy, did things get spicy later that year. A feud erupted off screen, and the subject was as contentious as it gets defending Roman Polanski, who had faced allegations of raping a young girl. Whoopie's defense of him, by asserting that it wasn't rape, had Rosie shaking her head in disapproval. And behind the scenes, people claimed that Rosie responded with a flaming angry letter, laying the tone for some pretty heated arguments. But hold on, there's more. When Rosie made a brief comeback in 2014 and 2015, the charges against Bill Cosby were making headlines, and the studio was essentially converted into a battleground. I'm not sure what was gained because, as we discussed earlier in the week, Whoopi Goldberg's defense of Cosby, by drawing comparisons to other controversies, set off a firestorm. I feel like I need a little bit more information, but when you stipulate the systems off the record, I don't know of another incident where the AP violated that agreement. Rosie pushed back with the power of a tidal wave because she wasn't going to let this happen. This feud between Rosie O'Donnell and Whoopi Goldberg didn't just stay on the screen, and it was a full-blown behind-the-scenes spectacle that's practically the stuff of Hollywood legend. According to the tell-all book ladies, who Punch Rosie held nothing back, which she revealed that Whoopi Goldberg's on-camera demeanor was the source of their argument over whether the numerous allegations against Cosby held weight or not. And their verbal showdown could rival any reality TV showdown. Rosie, who has a history of stirring up controversy, recently said that dealing with Whoopi on The View was the worst experience I've ever had dealing with someone live on television. It's like a tragic twist in a friendship story. Darling says Whoopi was as mean as anyone has ever been on television to me personally while I was sitting there. We all know Rosie doesn't shy away from controversy. Rosie revealed in a candid interview with none other than the infamous Howard Stern in 2020 that she once had love and respect for Whoopi, even before their days as co-hosts. But as fate would have it, the show turned into a battleground, and their friendship suffered. Rosie bared her soul, sharing that despite it all, she'd never lose respect for Whoopi Goldberg. But being on The View turned out to be a double-edged sword, both personally and professionally later, as Rosie shared even more details about their turbulent relationship. It emerged that all of the co-hosts were involved in a secret meeting. You did hear correctly, actually concurred that Rosie's decision to leave The View after just 1 year in 2015 was a breath of fresh air. The two ran into each other on a fateful night, and guess what they decided? That sitting at the same table wasn't on the agenda, not even after the waiter practically assumed they'd want to. It's like a plot twist in a dramatic romance, isn't it? Rosie and Whoopi's relationship has cooled to the point that even casual conversations are off the table. Rosie revealed that although I don't dislike her, I feel quite uncomfortable around her. Because of the tension and the unsaid words, this is the kind of tale that fuels the rumor mill. Sandy the captain and Rosie, I have a question for Rosie. So hi. I was wondering if you ever spoke to Whoopi Goldberg after the release of The Ladies Who Punch, and what your current relationship is like with her. Well, believe it or not, we actually ran into each other at the Megan Mullally performance of her concert in Café Carlisle, and we were friendly and said hello. I also worked on a project with her for ABC after the McGillicuddy incident, and you know I'm always going to be that person who was it juicy enough. You wouldn't believe what Rosie had to say about Ellen DeGeneres in an open discussion with The Hollywood Reporter. During an interview on The Larry King Show in 2004, Rosie revealed that she was wounded and perplexed by Ellen's actions. Rosie spilled the tea and said that she was perplexed by Ellen's seeming distance, wondering if it was caused by competition, jealousy, or perhaps a nasty remark. When Rosie's own show had just ended and Ellen's star was rising due to her talk show, there was once a period when the animosity was apparent. When asked about Rosie's show during the Larry King interview, Ellen's response, "I don't know Rosie, we're not friends," stunned everyone. However, Rosie continued by recalling their intimate relationship, saying they were like peas in a pod, and even knew each other's families. When Rosie discussed their rift on Andy Cohen's show, she revealed that Ellen texted her an apology, claiming not to remember the incident. Since then, they've exchanged messages, but the awkwardness still lingers. Rosie emphasized that it was a heartbreaking revelation, adding that it just felt like I don't trust this person to be in my world. Can you believe how these Hollywood friendships have changed over the years? It's like watching a drama-filled soap opera that has us all on the edge of our seats. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Rosie O'Donnell shared more details about her stormy relationship with Ellen DeGeneres that will leave you dumbfounded. The conversation took an interesting turn when Rosie recalled Ellen's apparent apology to her after she confronted her about the past, saying, "I'm really sorry, and I don't remember that." If you're wondering what exactly Rosie is referring to, well, buckle up. Rosie didn't hold back in revealing that Ellen recently reached out to her with a friendly text checking in on her and even asking how she's coping without her own TV show. But that's not all. We all saw how the drama between Rosie and other Hollywood hosts kept escalating. From text messages to apologies, it appears that these Hollywood stars are trying to mend fences, but the tension and weirdness of their history still linger. So how do you feel about well-known celebrities seemingly triggering the drama?